What's up, everybody? This is the Four Horsemen Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Josh Romine. With me tonight, I got Alex Devaney Stoner. What's up, dude?
How's it going? How old are we again? I don't even know.
We're very mature. I got Brent Ocker. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Excellent. And Joshua Van Cleve. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How's everybody else doing?
Well, happy election night. So it's a big deal. This is a big time in our country's history. So we'll see how that goes. But we want to go ahead and record our podcast tonight because it seems like the best night to do it. We are going to be doing our Week 10 preview. We'll be doing our fantasy stock watch. Then we'll go through the games. Before we do that, I actually wanted to, in lieu of the election, we wanted to talk about our fantasy president of the year and who each of our nominees are. So I want to go through it, just ask you guys, who's your fantasy MVP so far this season? I'll go through it. You give me like one sentence why they're your MVP, and then we'll talk about it for a few minutes. Sound like a plan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. You like it? All right. Well, I want to start with the loudest person in here. So Alex, you'll give us your hot take. That's you, buddy.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've been in love with this guy since he was on the team that I hate more than anything. That is DeMarco Murray. The reason why I like him is that you were able to get him maybe fourth, maybe even fifth round, and you were able to grab maybe an Antonio Brown or I was going to say Hopkins, but I mean he's been a bust because of that offense. But I mean you were able to get some really nice pieces of your team, and then go down and grab a guy like DeMarco Murray, who honestly, one season removed from being the best running back in football, he's top 5 right now.
Yep, I like it. Brent, who is your fantasy MVP so far this season?
An eligible guy that I think that I would vote for the fantasy MVP this season, Melvin Gordon. He went as far as the 7th or 8th round in most drafts. He fell that far. Now, he's maybe the number 1 or number 2 running back so far this year in fantasy. No big deal, right? That's pretty good, I'd say.
Not too bad.
Nice return
I like it.
On your investment.
Yeah, very, very good. All right, Van Cleve, who you got?
My MVP of the fantasy year is Matt Ryan. He's actually leading the candidate for the actual real NFL MVP, but where he was drafted, he was not. I don't even think a top 10 quarterback when he was drafted, and he has just been unstoppable on that Falcons offense.
All right, I like it, guys. So I want to talk a little bit more about Melvin Gordon because I feel like out of all those guys, Melvin Gordon, he was not real good last year. It was kind of terrible. So he was drafted real high. We had high expectations. Yeah, laughably bad.
Zero
no
touchdowns last year.
And how many has he got this year, Brent?
Millions. Millions of touchdowns.
He's at 9 rushing touchdowns total. I think he has 1 or 2 receiving. But I think that, honestly, I'd almost want to pull my guy other than the fact that I just have the hugest man crush on him. But I love what Melvin Gordon has done with this second season of his.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive. So if I had to give my vote, I'd probably go Melvin Gordon. Out of those guys, DeMarco Murray has been impressive, but I don't know. There's nobody behind Melvin Gordon right now. Derrick Henry still has got the possibility of it. And Matt Ryan, I don't know why. I just keep feeling like he could turn into a pumpkin still.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. I mean, but I do think that he's kind of turned a little bit of a corner. He seems a little bit more consistent. And it seems like even the addition of guys like Mohamed Sanu and really bringing on that 2-back system that they got going on, I think that's kind of helping them out a lot too. So I don't think he's going to turn into a pumpkin, but I understand why you would feel that way.
Yeah, and maybe he won't. Maybe he will end up being the MVP of the season, and Falcons will be awesome. But I don't know why. I just don't feel great about it. But all right, guys.
Matt Ryan's like that. He's like, his nickname's Matty Ice,
mm-hmm.
But he's on fire right now. So he's like one of those ice, the ice pack, hot pack kind of when you're hurt. It's good at the first beginning and it gets better at the end, but you just don't know which one to use at this time. I don't know.
Interesting take there. I like it.
Yep, totally.
Let's go ahead. Let's move into our fantasy stock watch. Speaking of our fantasy MVP, Alex, you got first one up there. Stocks up on Melvin Gordon. He had a huge game last week.
Yeah.
261 all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic.
That's pretty nice. That's a good day.
Pretty unexpected. So I think a lot of people were kind of sleeping on him this week, and he just, for as good as we're talking about him now and how consistent he has been, he's just been getting the workload, and he hasn't looked all that great in terms of just like running back qualities, but he's scoring touchdowns. He's getting all the carries. You got to love it. You can't sit him. What do you guys have any other words on Gordon that we haven't already said?
I mean, you just got to love where you got him in the draft because, I mean, even people were trading him earlier on in the season because they didn't trust him. They didn't think he was going to be doing this kind of work. And so the people that traded him are probably regretting it at this point too.
Okay, so I traded him for Mike Evans straight up, and I'm still okay with it.
Oh, well, yeah, Mike Evans.
I feel like if you hit on your running backs, which is kind of a boat that I feel like quite a bit of people were in with Melvin Gordon, you were okay getting rid of him because you had other ones. And the people that traded for Melvin Gordon are also happy because they were running back needy. So it kind of, I feel like it was a situation that worked out both ways with a lot of people. So, But stock's definitely up on him, not going down. And I don't really see that workload decreasing. They don't have anything else. So Melvin Gordon's all they got, and they're going to keep riding that puppy.
Is Brandon Oliver still the backup?
He's hurt. He's out for the season.
Okay. I don't even know the backup.
Yeah, possibly.
Is it a rookie?
But
yeah, it's a rookie now. I can't remember his name though.
I don't even know. I don't know if I've watched a Chargers game. I just see the highlights, and it's all Melvin Gordon scoring touchdowns. So no Keenan Allen out there, so their team's boring to me. But let's move on. Next stock. Stock is down on Matt Stafford. After putting his team on his back for much of the early part of the season, Stafford has been stalling in recent weeks, posting less than 250 yards the past 2 weeks. I know, Alex, you've been vocally down on him quite a bit.
I mean, honestly, to me, it's just when you have a bad coach, and I don't think that's the OC's problem. I think that it's Caldwell. I think he's a terrible coach. And cute dog you got there. That's nice.
Yeah, thanks.
And I just have this just anger about the Detroit offense because they can't run the ball. They have lost some players, but Theoretic's run the ball well when he's been in there, and it just seems like they make bad decision after bad decision, and I don't know. It's a frustrating team, honestly.
Yeah, the Lions are a weird team. Like Marvin Jones, he's been, he was super hot and then it's cooled off. Do you think that's because of Stafford directly, or is it because of the wide receivers not?
I think they've almost changed up their strategies to the point where they've made Golden Tate a focal point of their offense and Theo Riddick. Before it was Marvin Jones as a deep play threat, but it seems like these dink and dunk line of scrimmage passes are just killing their offense, and it's becoming very stagnant almost.
I think he's spreading the ball around more. You see Bolden getting in there a lot, Golden Tate, Theoretic, and so
Ebron.
Yeah. So I think it's more of him spreading the ball around and them changing up the offense to meet more Matt Stafford. Because I think what you saw with beginning Marvin Jones, like the old style with Calvin Johnson, when he just kept getting fed the ball. And so now they're getting a new rhythm of him getting more comfortable taking over that offense and having control of that. And so you see him spreading the ball around more. I think that's what you're going to see more of the Lions instead of having one dominant fantasy wide receiver.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not in love with Matt Stafford. So the next guy I am in love with, stock's down on Jarvis Landry, with Jay Ajayi on the up and up, and Ryan Tannehill being Ryan Tannehill. Dolphins seem to be leaning more on their run game than ever. So Jarvis Landry's talented. We talked about it last episode, but it was another situation where you thought he was going to be better than he was, and he had another terrible game. And I think Ajay had like 100 yards and a touchdown. I don't know.
You've got to be frustrated if you invested anything into that passing attack. If you had Tannehill, if you have Devontae Parker, if you had Jarvis Landry, I don't think that many people are starting Kenny Stills, but he's the only one that has shown flashes of big playability, honestly. But even that's still far and few between. So just kind of frustrating. I really don't want to have anything to do with Miami's passing offense right now, even though I'm kind of forced into it this week because Moncrief's going to be out. But yeah, I'm really down on that passing offense.
It's probably the best thing that's happened to the Dolphins, though, because aren't they on it? They're on a 3-game win streak now. Ever since they switched their identity to a run-first team, it seems like with Ajayi, and Landry. Unfortunately, is what's the opposite of benefactor? I mean, seriously that passing game is worthless at this point, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to the Dolphins. So it's unfortunate for the Landry owner because he's still getting his target share, though. And it sounds like what Adam Gase said is they've got to do a better job of getting him some more catches. So we'll see what happens going forward. But his stock is definitely down.
Yeah. Do you think you should consider selling him now, or do you sit on it and write it out? Like, you're not going to get the value that you'd want out of him, but would it be better to get something out of him now before it possibly goes lower?
I think so. I mean, it's the same thing with Hopkins, like in Houston, though. Those guys are getting targets, but their crappy quarterback play is just letting you down fantasy-wise on a weekly basis.
In Dynasty, I could see that, but I don't see in Dynasty, I think that's a great move to make. Like, try to get these guys low if you can, but I don't know who you're going to sell somebody. It's like, nothing's going to happen in Houston to make Hopkins good. Nothing's going to make, anything happen with Jarvis Landry, pushing for the playoffs. What team's going to want it?
Oh, I think a team that, is maybe down this year that wants to look future. Like, we've seen Jarvis Landry
with Dynasty, though. I understand that, but like outside of Dynasty, is there
just
any
like redraft? I mean, you could take a chance on. You've seen Jarvis Landry be good on a bad team, and you've also seen the Dolphins make dumb decisions before. So what's to say they're going to keep going with what's working? Maybe they're going to try to switch it up again here a few games. If they lose a couple, what's to say that they're not going to switch right back to what they were doing?
That's true.
I feel like you want talent on your teams, right? You want talented players. Granted, like, you want those good situations, but sometimes, like, it's not a bad idea to get that talent on there and hope that it works out. That's why people drafted Devontae Parker. Like, that's why people saw that and they thought that it could be something. And it hasn't worked out this year, but we've seen Jarvis Landry be good in bad situations. I still think that he's got the talent. And if Miami does open up the throwing game, maybe teams are going to start stacking the box. Maybe they're going to start putting more people up against Ajayi, and then they're going to have no choice but to throw it. So I don't know. Me personally, I've thought about trying to sell Jarvis Landry, but I own him in mostly dynasty leagues, so I still really like him. But unless I was getting like a good draft pick, I probably wouldn't move him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up our fantasy stock watch. So before I move on to the week 10 preview, follow us on Twitter, guys. It's a 4 Horsemen Pod. Send us emails, 4horsemenpod@gmail.com. I didn't get any again this week, so I was back to being sad. But last week was a pleasant change, so let's keep it driving. I added a couple new followers on Twitter. I'm back on there posting our podcast, so my phone has actually been working to do that. So it's great. Follow us. Send us emails. On to the Week 10 preview. Last week, our pick'em games, Brent is still in the lead. He's got 77 wins. I'm right behind him at 75. Van Cleve, you moved up in their game, right behind that at 73. Alex, you're at 60. So it's not over yet, though.
I'm coming.
Buddy.
I'm moving up. Just wait.
You can still do it. We still have faith in you.
Just wait.
So But
I think what I
let's
should
go.
next week, I'm going to start picking the exact opposite of what I pick. I'm going to write them all down, and then I'm going to flip them all and see what happens.
You know
I
what?
think you would definitely do better.
I know.
It couldn't be worse.
I'm telling you, I'm awesome at picking with the spread. I'm doing great with that. Terrible when just picking.
Well, that's all right. We don't judge you.
Yeah.
6
we
out of
do.
the 9 weeks, Alex, you have been sub 500 in your picks.
That's not good.
Touchdown, guys.
Well, let's
I'm top notch.
let's get into the previews, guys. We actually get to talk about the Thursday game this week since we're recording this on a what is today? Tuesday. So Browns at Ravens. I don't know if it's really one that's we want to talk about too much.
Garbage. Move on.
But, like, okay.
It's
I
really
think
hard to give our listeners insider info when the game's not currently going on.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Sure. What I was going to say is, Brent, I think that Joe Flacco is going to be a popular pickup this week for streaming quarterback players. People are looking to start somebody. And you want to start people against the Browns. What do you think about that matchup?
I actually really like it. I did it in one DraftKings already. In a daily, I tag teamed him with Steve Smith actually coming back because I don't think Steve Smith would be as popular of a pickup as Mike Wallace maybe, who's off of a hot game. But I do think a couple wide receivers, the quarterback, they have some real popular – it's a real popular thing right now, I think. Even Terrence West, I think, has a really good matchup going against the Browns, poor run defense. And I've heard it around the fantasy circles right now, but even Kenneth Dixon is flex-worthy this week. His touches are going up each week, and I think he almost split it 50-50 with Terrence West last week.
Yeah.
Then I want nothing to do with Terrence West this week.
Right?
I mean, he kind of burned me this week because he had a better matchup last week than he did this week. So I don't know. I'm kind of off the Terrence West train, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens with Dixon. But I don't want anything to do with Terrence West this week.
Yeah. So, Brent, I know you said that you were stacking Steve Smith with Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you consider their number one wide receiver? Would you consider it Mike Wallace or would you consider it Steve Smith?
I mean, I think you have to say it's Mike Wallace at this point, but that's only because Steve Smith has been out with injury. Before Steve Smith's injury, he was getting more of the targets on the team than anyone else other than maybe Dennis Pitta. And I think Steve Smith returning, he's going to get right back into that role with Flacco. He's got that rapport with him. But I do like Mike Wallace, though, too. I mean, you saw it last week, a 95-yard touchdown, and it wasn't because of Flacco. That was all run after the catch. He's
fast.
Impressive by Mike Wallace.
He's always been fast. He's just a quick dude. Then that's what I was going to say is the Browns have been terrible against number one receivers. So I think it's kind of a tough call to start. You talked about you stacked Smith. I stacked Flacco and Mike Wallace. I think it's a good cheap option.
I almost did that myself.
Yeah, it could hit, and it could hit big on one play as we saw last week. But let's see. I lost my train of thought. We all took the Ravens, of course, so I guess I just didn't even need to look at it. But the Browns are terrible. Worst team in football, maybe, other than the 49ers.
The Jets.
Yeah.
But the Jets have talent, but they can't play.
Just
San Francisco.
Bad. Bunch of bad teams. Let's move into the 1 o'clock games, though. Chiefs at Panthers. The Panthers have been pretty terrible. Joshua, what do you see coming out of this game?
I see actually the Panthers trying to get back on track. They've won a game, so they're going to try rolling to get some more wins. I could see the offense putting together a little bit more of some things to be able to move on to Kansas City. The Kansas City offense, though, it's got me because 1 week they could be really good, and then another week they could be kind of stagnant and not much on there. Especially with the running backs, I'm not sure what to say of that. I don't know if Spencer Ware's going to come back for injury or not. Maybe if Travis Kelce doesn't get ejected again, look for him to have a good game. Look out for that young wide receiver from Kansas City. I know it's not the most high-power passing game, but it looks like he's getting more and more targets and getting some catches. Other than that, I think
Tyreek Hill or
yes.
Conley or
No, Hill. Conley's a second-year player.
oh yeah.
But then, I mean, on the Panthers side, you starting Newton. I think you can start Benjamin. Yeah, maybe Stewart, but I'm not sure if I mean, if you have bye weeks or injuries, I'd start Stewart. With that.
Romine just disappeared. Can you still hear us, Romine? Nothing.
Nope.
He's gone. All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say something about. I have a hard time trusting in Stewart. Like, it's just I have no idea what he's going to do week to week. I want to believe in Benjamin, but he's a little frustrating. But I don't know.
But see, Benjamin's got the talent, and I just think it's that the offense I just don't think it's like clicking. I don't know if it's Cam or what, because he's got the talent. He's proven that Benjamin can be an asset to that team. But they're just, I mean, if you go back and look at their passing game of last week, it's nothing to jump out at. I mean, Greg Olsen was
kind of boring.
Yeah, I mean,
straight up, they're just kind of boring.
Benjamin and Olsen both had 7 targets on the team that led the Ted King Jr. too. But I mean, what Kim had 225 yards and 1 touchdown. Like I said, that offense is not moving at all. But I think they maybe try to get back in rhythm since they won. But I mean, they go against a tougher defense versus Rams. But I don't know.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. God damn it. I don't know what happened there. Lost everything. It was chaotic. So yeah, I don't really know what you all said about that game, but me and Van Cleef picked the Panthers, and Alex and Brent picked the Chiefs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Next game is the Broncos at Saints. Should be a little bit higher fantasy goodness. You always like the Saints at home. Drew Brees. You saw the Broncos get run over on Sunday night by Latavius Murray. Alex, what's your main takeaway from this game?
Honestly, one of the things is it's actually kind of a down point. Devontae Booker has not looked good. And now I'm starting to look at it as not, I was thinking C.J. Anderson was a problem. It seems like there's something wrong with this offensive line as far as creating holes for their running backs, because they're just not able to do anything. And now, on the other side of things, I don't know if maybe Trevor Siemian is a problem too, because you're not getting the production that you want out of Demaryius Thomas or Emmanuel Sanders. So Denver's just kind of a frustrating team right now, honestly.
Yeah, but if you want the team to open up, like going against the Saints, like I feel like this could be an opportunity where Simeon could.
Yeah, but I don't think it's downplay from the receivers, the offensive line. Yeah, it's not a good offensive line, but I think it has more with the quarterback play than anything. They know they can't really pass it, so they're putting up and stacking the box, and then I think he just can't make good, accurate throws. I don't think he can. I don't think he can make those wide receivers. Because those wide receivers are good.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not good.
Go ahead.
You're not going to bench Thomas or Sanders, are you? Though, like
no,
especially not in this position. You got to play.
I think that you've got to start them, and you're frustrated about it. Like it's kind of like starting. It's kind of like starting Landry. Honestly, you're not getting the play that you want out of these guys that you have a decent high pick from. I think that I don't know. And New Orleans, it's going to be, other than Drew Brees, I don't want anything to do with this team. I just don't. Week to week, I can't stand them.
I don't know. I like Michael Thomas from the Saints.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're bad players. I'm saying that they are a frustrating team to predict week to week. And I think that, depending now, if Talib and some of their corners are still out, I mean, they got destroyed. They got picked apart a lot. And, that's supposed to be a really good secondary. So if you have, Thomas or Cooks, you're definitely going to still roll them out. It's just frustrating because you never know which one's going to go. And that's the frustrating part about the Saints.
Well, I mean, if you like gambling, then you like that because I think this is a Cooks week. I see it happening.
It's been like 3 or 4 weeks, so you're probably right.
I think it's gonna happen. But you guys all took the Broncos. I actually think the Saints are gonna win this one. I think that Breeze is gonna have a good game. I think that it could be, like I said, I think that Breeze to Cooks connection could be strong. Next game, Rams at Jets. Brent, is there anything good coming out of this game at all, or is it just
No.
pure
Next.
garbage? Yeah, I don't have anything to say about it. I think it's one of the worst games of the year so far.
This would be the perfect game to start Jared Goff. I would say that.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's on the road against the Jets, but the Jets don't scare you. Their defense does not scare you. I don't like this matchup for Gurley. I know the Jets have a top 4 run defense. So, but they're also saying they need to get Gurley more than 12 damn touches a game. And I agree. Right. Give your best player the ball.
Yeah, you can't sit Gurley, but
I gotta
God,
ask,
you'd want to.
Okay, Caldwell and Fisher, who is a worse coach?
Both.
Yeah, I had to pose that out there.
Push.
I think you're right. I think it's a push. Neither one of them should be coaching.
Yeah, they're horrible.
What's so frustrating about that situation, LA Rams, is so they spent so much to go up and get Goff, but yet he's not ready. They've either just are idiots and they can't draft well, or this coaching staff and they can't coach up talent.
Both.
You're telling me that Case Keenum is that much better?
He's not. I don't think if he's
a backup on any other team.
If he's a true number 1 pick, he has to have more talent than Case Keenum. It's just the coaches can't coach him very well. They don't know how to coach that talent. It's either he's horrible and he's not worth the number 1 pick, or the coaches just can't coach him.
Yeah, well, as terrible as we're saying the Rams are, me, Brent, and Van Cleve picked them to win. Alex picked the Jets, so you could get a game back on us all there. But
that's just because I like the Rams defense is actually good.
Rams defense is probably the best fantasy start out of that whole thing. So
yeah,
I'm starting them on a daily.
Yeah, me too. Next game, Packers at Titans. Aaron Rodgers, they have no run game. They can't run the ball.
Nope.
What do you see this continuing, Alex? Do you think that Rodgers is just going to keep throwing the ball? Short passes?
It's going to have to be that way. They can't run the ball. I think that maybe once James Starks is able to come back, they might have a little bit of something at the end of the season. He might be a good pickup. Or somebody, if you can store him on your bench, I think he'd be a good possibility because he's been great in relief his entire career. So, you're kind of waiting on that. As far as, I didn't check the stats on the wide receivers for Green Bay. Did anybody really have a good game?
Jordy did. He got 94 yards and a touchdown.
Okay. So, I mean, you're glad if you're a Jordy owner because you drafted him reasonably high, probably second round, maybe third round. But that's another offense that is kind of confusing to try to figure out. So, you're definitely starting Aaron Rodgers. And then, you're going to start, Cobb, you're going to start Nelson and maybe even Adams because, you're hoping that you hit on something. On the other side of the ball, Murray next.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about Rashad Matthews?
Well, what about Mariota?
Almost as bad as Tajay Sharp.
But regardless of those guys, Mario's got talent. He can move in the pocket. He can run. He's
been scoring decent in fantasy.
Yeah, he's been all right.
Well, the Packers have a great run defense, so that's the only reason I say I don't know if they're going to, shy away a little bit from DeMarco and try to keep Mariota going. But I agree with your Packers takes, Alex. So Randall Cobb didn't even play a snap in the first half. I think he played 20 in the second half. Yeah, he caught a touchdown late, but I don't know. The Packers, they can't run, so it's all throwing.
The Packers are 4-4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've lost 3 of these games at home in Green Bay. And Mike McCarthy is now on the hot seat from what I've been reading.
Rightfully so. Like, just as much of a hot seat, as Pagano is in Indianapolis. They're on bye this week. The Colts were lucky to win that game last week, and I would like to take credit for them winning. You can take some credit too, Brent, by us picking against the Colts. I think that we pushed the Colts to a victory. So
see, we motivated them, unlike McCarthy was motivating Green Bay.
Exactly. McCarthy, get out of there. But Aaron Rodgers keep throwing the ball. Next game, Falcons at Eagles.
Who did we take on that last game?
Oh, we all took the Packers, every single one of us. So we hate the Titans and the AFC South in general. So, but Brent, Falcons at Eagles. We talked about Matt Ryan being a fantasy MVP candidate. Eagles have a great passing defense. Do you think that this is going to be another chuck the ball down the field, Julio Jones game, or is it going to be Devontae Freeman hasn't really looked all that wonderful with Tevin Coleman sitting?
Every week there's always that one, maybe two matchups that I just absolutely love and want to take part in every single player possible in a matchup. This is one of those matchups this week. I think there's just going to be a lot of points scored. I don't think it's going to be low scoring at all. I know in a lot of dailies I played Matt Ryan, Julio, I played Jordan Matthews, Zach Ertz, Carson Wentz. Atlanta's defense is not good. I think Eagles' offense might actually put up quite a few points in this game, and Atlanta's going to be forced to keep up. Or it could be the other way around too. Atlanta gets up so much that Philadelphia plays the comeback role. But I just think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this matchup, and I think you start everyone.
All right. Hot takes. I like it. Start everybody. We split on this game. Alex and I took the Eagles. Brent and Van Cleve took the Falcons. Next game, Vikings at Redskins. Alex, who you see coming out of this game?
I really don't want to touch anybody on Minnesota. I just don't. Until something happens. You probably didn't invest a lot to get Diggs. Maybe he's somebody that you start if you got some bye week situations, but not a whole lot. Now on the other side of the ball, you're going to be starting Jordan Reed. You're going to be starting. Honestly, I think you're starting Jamison Crowder at this point because he's been pretty steady week to week. It kind of seems like a number one target at this point for Cousins. So I would be looking at, and I know that he's on waiver wires in a lot of places. So, if you need some help, I think that maybe Jamison Crowder would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
Crowder's been good. What were you going to say, Van Cleef?
Well, so you have Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson coming up and be a free agency. Would you keep Crowder for Dynasty then?
Possible. I mean, I think that their main target is going to be Doxson and getting him healthy, getting him back. So you're already looking at that. But I think that when it comes down to it, I think that Crowder might be the number two. So
you think Crowder's going to be a number two over Doxson, even though Crowder's got a year ahead of him, especially with that chemistry with Cousins? Or do you think Cousins is going to be gone next year?
I think it'll remain to be seen what they end up doing, but I do like Jamison Crowder. He has a lot of skills that he's shown the last few weeks. So I don't know. Doxson I've been in love with Doxson, so my judgment might be a little clouded, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Doxson's got a lot of those physical skills, like you said, those young players. I was excited to see Treadwell catch a ball finally, so that's good. I don't know if it's going to really amount to too much more, but I was glad to see he at least caught one. So
yeah.
But we split on this game as well. Alex and Van Cleve, you guys took the Vikings. Me and Brent took the Redskins. So next game, Battle of the AFC South, Texans at Jaguars. I don't know. Garbage again. Like a couple of games of slate. Just I don't know.
Yeah.
Surprising that Houston has a winning record.
Yeah, like could this be a Lamar Miller game again? Like Jaguars are bad.
It could be anybody's game. That's how bad the Jaguars are.
Yeah, not Brock's. Alex, you guys love Brock.
I
Though,
mean,
so-
but look what Brock did
boy.
to the Colts, though.
Yeah.
Oh, Brock. I love him. I would start him 99. No, I would never start him. No. Brock is terrible.
He is bad. He is really bad. But the Jaguars are bad.
Yeah. I don't understand the Jaguars.
Which is going to be a worse quarterback going this week, Brock Osweiler or Blake Bortles?
Brock. I mean, okay, I understand, and I see where some of your no. I don't even have any stock in him, but
You just love him as a man.
I think that he has shown his skill set before, and I understand he's looked like crap this season, and whatever he needs to do to get back on track, he has better. I don't know. Brock is just so bad. He's so bad, like epically terrible. And now you could probably put Bortles in the toward the bottom of the heap, but I think that Brock is the worst quarterback in the league.
Brock is a terrible decision. I feel like he's a really bad decision maker, and he's not accurate. So
he's terrible.
Bortles just holds onto the ball for so long. Even if he's a good decision, it takes him forever to get the ball out of there. It's just not. I don't know. It's not working. But I'm starting Lamar Miller in quite a few places. I think that I like him against the Jags. I would probably start Fuller. Is Fuller still?
You got to show me something, Fuller.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm still just Hopkins. It's not happening, and I just don't know at this point. Like Allen Robinson and Hopkins. At least I think Robinson did a little something last week, but it's just not been a good season for them. Van Cleve, you took the Jaguars, and the three of us took the Texans. So,
do you guys want to hear their stats come next to each other?
Ooh,
Brock's and Blake's.
Yeah.
Brock. Okay, so Brock Osweiler is his completion for this year is 59%. Blake Bortles is 59%. Blake Bortles has 14 touchdowns. Brock has 9. I think that's a big difference right there between touchdowns. 10 interceptions for Blake, and then 9 interceptions for Brock.
Because Brock is so inaccurate, he can't even throw a pick. I mean, he's so
far,
bad.
So far, though, Brock has 1,719 yards, and Blake has 1,050 yards. So they're very close, but I think Blake has them with a little bit of yardage and obviously touchdowns. Where
they both suck. So
both 59% completion rating. That's pretty bad, and both have 9 to 10 interceptions. That's pretty bad.
They're both terrible. So
yeah.
Moving on. Bears at Buccaneers. Alex.
Give me some Mike Evans.
Jay Cutler is back. Like Alshon Jeffrey, Buccaneers.
Yeah. Jeffrey, you are definitely hoping you can cash in a little bit on him. I'm looking at Jordan Howard. I was worried about what they were going to be able to do, but Jordan Howard looked great with Cutler under center. And I think that's actually helpful because now they can't really stack the box anymore because, there is that connection with Jeffrey. And now you got Howard. I think that you're starting to be able to get a few things. Now, here's the big question, and it's something that I've tried to figure out, is what to do with Cam Meredith. Because that chemistry was all Hoyer, but he did so well those couple of games. He has that ability, so I feel like I have to hold on to him, but I'm not going to start him. I really want to see what happens with Cam Meredith.
Like Meredith's getting dropped in a lot of leagues. I see him in a lot of waiver wires now.
Yeah.
So I don't mind picking him up and stashing him, but I don't know. I just Cutler and Alshon have a thing, and Jordan Howard looked really good. I almost wanted to put him on our stock watch as moving up again because he looks solid.
Was that him or was that the
matchup? I don't know. I think it's him at least partially. He's talented. He's a good running back, and it was a great position. But I feel like he's good.
Mm-hmm.
They got to ride him. I feel like they got to keep going with that. the Bears, like I feel like when I talk about them, like they should be so amazingly good fantasy value wise. Like
Yeah.
Alshon should be great. Jordan Howard should be great. Cam Meredith has shown that he could be good. Like they have a lot of talent, and this would be a good position for it. Like you alluded to at the beginning, Van Cleve, though, I think Mike Evans is a fantastic start. I don't even know if it matters. If Winston plays, then absolutely starting Evans. But what if it's Glennon?
I think you still got to start him.
Yeah.
Glennon showed that he can throw the ball.
Glennon showed it last year, and I think that even after Winston went out, I think Evans was still getting targets and passes. It was not till the end where Evans got a concussion that he got pulled from the game.
Yep. So hopefully both of them will be good. I love Mike Evans. I want him to do well. I like the Buccaneers. I don't know why. I just do.
They're one of those other teams that's like the Raiders and the Jaguars.
Up and coming.
Up and coming. That's still got some young talent that's got some high hopes for that offense, but they're so got to put pieces together.
Yep, I took the Buccaneers this week. I think that they're going to win at home. The rest of you guys took the Bears, so there's a game for me. Moving on to the Sunday 4 p.m. slate, Dolphins at Chargers. Brent, you're back with us now, so what kind of hot takes you got from this game?
What game was it?
Dolphins at the Chargers. The
Dolphins and Chargers. Miami's going to try and pound the ball, and San Diego's going to stop them this game. That's my hot take. I think San Diego has a real good matchup at home against Miami's middle-of-the-road defense. I think you can pass on Miami, and I think Phillip Rivers is going to do just that. Melvin Gordon, you got to roll him out there. He's going to be a fantasy stud the rest of the season, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think that this could be a good another big Melvin Gordon game. Chargers defense last week stepped up. I think this could be another really good spot for them. So I think it could be a pounding. I think the Dolphins come back to earth. But we all took the Chargers. I don't think we really need to talk too much more about that game because it kind of sucks too. 49ers at Cardinals next game. Carson Palmer, maybe like Drew Brees look good. The 49ers are terrible. Van Cleve, do you think Palmer's got anything left? Coming off a bye?
I think they give him some rest. I think he was dealing with some little bit of injuries when he was playing before. You have David Johnson. I think David Johnson is going to go huge. I mean, look at what Mark Ingram and Tim Hightower done. They went off on San Francisco, and I think David Johnson is 10 times better of a back than they are in talent, and so they're going to be versatile with him. I think you can see some Fitzgerald, maybe some John Brown. Yeah.
What about JJ Nelson? That's kind of John Brown, JJ Nelson now.
Those could possibly, it's back and forth. Those guys it's whoever has a hot hand, whoever has a deep threat.
This is a Michael Floyd game for sure.
I was going to say, if you want one touchdown off of one catch, put in Michael Floyd. There it is.
If your season is dependent on one catch for one touchdown, Michael Floyd's the king.
Okay.
Michael Floyd. For 14 and a touchdown. Yes.
I'm gonna say something right now. I feel like there's no chance that Michael Floyd does anything in this game. So start him, because that probably means that he's gonna go for like 11 catches, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns this week.
Well, it's been a year since he's done that, so
exactly, and he's gonna do it.
Did he even
once
do
a
it?
year.
When's he done that last?
He did that last year. One year or one game he had like 100 yards.
They're just saving him for after the bye week. That's all.
Exactly.
Keeping him fresh.
Going to be unleashed. So what do you guys think about that new rookie? Rookie Dwan Harris, running back, if Hyde's not going to go.
I don't think he's a rookie.
You think he's a rookie?
No, I think he's been in the league for like 3 years.
Yeah, he sounds familiar. Like I've heard of him.
Because I thought he used to be
before.
on the Packers.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. I didn't know who he was before they started talking about him last week, so I missed that train because that kind of talk was coming right before the games. Was when I was really hearing it starting to ramp up. And is Carlos Hyde? What's wrong with him? What's his injury?
Being a broke piece of crap.
Yeah,
like always.
Whatever.
I believe it's a shoulder injury.
AC joint sprain.
Yeah,
in the shoulder. Yeah.
I don't know.
He can't stay healthy. I'm off the Hyde train. I'm done.
Not a bad train to be off of, I
Yeah.
think. Hopefully you sold him when you had the chance, because we all thought it was going to be coming to an end at some point. Sorry, Van Cleef.
I didn't sell him.
Yeah, you like him.
Should have got rid of his ass. Well, Van Cleef can't get rid of any of his running backs at this point. He is in dire straits.
I got rid of too many. Now I can't get rid of anybody.
He had a fire sale about 3 weeks ago, and now things are just falling
You
apart.
get a running back. You get a running back. You get a running back.
Well, we all took the Cardinals in that game, and I don't think that's any surprise. 49ers suck. Next game, Cowboys at Steelers.
Wait, one more thing.
What?
Does Kaepernick
What?
go for 400 yards?
No.
I hope so. I have to start him this week.
Gosh.
Why do you think that?
Because he went for almost 400 yards against the Saints.
Yeah, it was the Saints.
Yeah.
Next
You're
question.
ridiculous. Moving on to a quarterback that will have over 400 yards passing this week. Cowboys at Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger comes back this week. He's terrible coming back from his first game back. It's at home. It's against the Cowboys, whose secondary has not been healthy. This is, I think, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns for Roethlisberger this week.
Jesus Christ.
I actually
I'm
thought
calling it.
when you
That's
said
Hot take.
when you first said who's going to go for 400 yards, I was thinking Dak. Oh yeah, Dak.
Oh, God. God. This is my nightmare. Cowboys being good is my nightmare.
Dak all over him.
Oh,
Dude, they're doing good. They're
Love me some Dak.
so much. I hate him
But,
so much.
Des Bryant was not good last week.
Well, there's a lot of talk. I don't know if you guys heard this, but that Dak was trying to force the ball to him in last game. He ended up with 4 for over 100, which is what you want to see, fantasy production. But honestly, that was a game that the Eagles should have won. But they let things get away from, which seems to be kind of the Eagles' MO this year. So I think that sorry, I just hate talking about the Cowboys. I hate them so much, guys.
Well, say something about the
hate 'em.
Steelers, because you know who else looked kind of crappy last week? Le'Veon Bell.
That is true, and that whole team looked really anemic. I don't know what the problem was, but I think they get back on track this week.
Yeah, I really do too. I think that this is just I think it could be a really good spot for Roethlisberger. So we split this week. Steelers were taken by myself and Alex, I think, right?
Yeah.
And Van Cleve and Brent, you guys think that the stinking Cowboys are going to do it. I hope that the Cowboys lose. Sunday night game, Seahawks at Patriots. Brent.
This is actually a really good Sunday night game.
Yeah. How's it going to play out?
Well, the Russell Wilson, which one is going to show up this week is what I'm kind of
Is he
wondering.
back?
I doubt it. There's no way.
I
I
doubt
don't
it.
know.
I do. I agree with Brent.
Yeah.
There's rumblings. Is Thomas Rawls going to come back and retake his
Ooh.
starting running back role, possibly over Kristen Michael after his last few weeks of poor performances?
So, just to interrupt you real quick, I heard that Thomas Rawls is out for week 10, but week 11 is when he's supposed to be coming back.
So same question. How about next week? Do you think Thomas Rawls comes back and retakes his lead back role?
No.
I think that Kristen Michael choked it away. Like he hasn't been able to, and I don't know if it's their offensive line or what it is, but
Didn't he only have like 5 carries though last week?
yes, they just abandoned the run completely. Procise outsnapped him.
Yep.
Dang. Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
Hate to have that backfield.
That would suck.
Whoever has that kind of backfield must be sucking.
Well,
Oh, I was gonna say, like, if Rawls is on your waiver wire, though, I don't think that's a bad stash either.
Yeah.
They've definitely given him the time to come back. Like, if he can come back healthy, I don't think Pete Carroll will hesitate to put him back in the role. I just don't think that Carroll likes Procise as an every down back, and I think it's what he wanted Michael to be, who we all thought was going to step right in and take that role away, and he hasn't been doing it.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks has just been trash.
One thing I do like to see is Russell Wilson getting a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Like he's getting his legs back a little bit more. So if somebody dropped Russell Wilson in your league, I do think you go out and get him.
Yeah.
I know you were talking about that last week, Romine.
Yep.
If anybody dropped him, you're buying low right now, and he was at his lowest point. You droppable.
Yeah.
What do you think about Jimmy Graham then?
And Jimmy Graham.
The emergence
Love
of him.
Jimmy Graham.
I mean, he's been doing great all season.
Finally, this is the first time he's been good as a Seahawk.
Yeah,
he's that exception to the rule of that injury that's happened to a lot of different players. For sure.
Seriously,
I
though,
really didn't think that he would come back like this with that injury.
Yeah, most people didn't, but I could not be happier for that dude. I love Jimmy Graham. And, it's what we talked about at the beginning of the season. Like, we hoped that he could come back and do this and that Seattle would learn how to use him, because I don't think they knew how to use a really good tight end. And they figured it out, because he's killing boys right now. Straight killing them. So
what about on the New England side of the ball? They've been an offensive powerhouse these last few weeks now that Brady's back. Do you think going up against Seattle's defense is going to limit that a little bit, or do you think they're still going to put up the points?
I still think they're going to put up the points. They're going to find a way to win. They're going to find a way to score, whether it's through the air or on the ground. However, I think
they get Deion Lewis back this week, by the way.
Yeah, I think Seahawks defense is good, but I don't think it's anything to write home about. It's
Yeah, I don't think that Deion Lewis in this first week back, I still am starting LeGarrette Blount.
14 catches for 158 yards and 6 touchdowns. Right there. Hot take.
Wow.
That's his floor.
Boom. That's the floor. Yeah, that's the floor.
Well, Alex, you're the lone Seahawks person in this matchup, so I think that was a stupid pick, but you've been making those all year, so no one is surprised.
Can I go back and switch all my picks away from Alex?
The exact opposite of what
the rest of us took the Patriots, and I think it's going to be a Patriots smashing. Monday night game, Bengals at Giants. Alex, you just dropped a hot take on Deion Lewis. You got any more hot takes from this game?
I feel like Eli will be decent. Hot take.
Hashtag hot take.
No,
hot take. Eli will be average.
I think that, for whatever reason, last few weeks, before last week, they've been kind of moving away from Sterling Shepard, which I don't understand at all. He was absolutely fantastic in the first couple of weeks of the season, and then it seems like they just were forcing the ball to Beckham. Now, I think they need to merge those two things together, because if both of those guys are going off at the same time, that's fantastic. That team can really be a fantasy powerhouse. Obviously you're not starting a single running back from that team because it's garbage. But, with Cincinnati, you're rolling out A.J. Green. And, if you have to, maybe Hill and Gio, but not much else.
Yeah, but, hey, Brent, didn't you come up with the stat that the Giants were winning with Rashad Jennings? And then wasn't he back last week and they won?
No.
Something like
Take
that.
the credit, Brent.
No.
Take the credit.
All right, well,
Ridiculous. That was idiotic, man, Cleveland. What the hell?
Sterling Shepard caught one of the 4 touchdown passes that Eli threw last week. He got a little more involved, but Victor Cruz is hurt right now too, so that might be helping the Beckham and Sterling Shepard cause there if you're going to be starting them in fantasy. Gives you more incentive to start Sterling Shepard, I guess.
But I guess Rashad Jennings is in the offense so that he's more of a presence for the run game, where they didn't have one without him. And
Did
so
they really have one though?
I mean, I think that. I mean, if you look at the passing game when they had,
But it doesn't matter. Like, he's not fantasy relevant, though.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying with him in the game, that makes the wide receivers more fantasy relevant.
Maybe
because there's more of a pass rush presence.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
You guys all took the Bengals in this game. I'm taking the Giants at home. Andy,
you guys want to switch?
You guys should switch. But yeah, so that's our final game of Week 10. Before we close out the show, let's talk about some DraftKings. Who won last week? Anybody know?
Yeah,
not me. I never win.
Neither does Van Cleve.
Neither do I.
Now you're what, 5-2? Is that it?
I at least got 6 wins. You guys are basically funding my DraftKings this
Wow.
year. So
Wow.
I'm
Mark,
good.
hot take. That's the last time Romine wins for another 3 or 4 weeks. Hot take.
Double down on me this week because I am winning again with all of these hot
Open
takes.
it up. Give
I in ours, I'm doing the Flacco to Wallace. I think that's where I started off.
I almost went there.
I liked it, and
Mhm.
it's a lot of the players that I've already talked about this week. Like I got Rams defense, but I think it's Alshon Jeffrey's price is only 6,600 this week, and I feel like that's really low for the
Yeah.
position that he's in. With Jay Cutler coming back, I don't see how I get off of that pick. Do you
I
guys
love
have a
it,
guy
too. That is my stack for our league this week.
Cutler?
Cutler and Jeffrey. Yep.
I almost went with the Cutler stack too, but I really like the Flacco Wallace stack. So I'm hoping to be a little bit, I don't know, if different from you guys at least. But do you have a guy on your guys' team that you look at that price and you can't get away from him?
I mean, I'm totally in on Jordan Howard still being only $6,000. I mean, that's if he can put up the numbers that he's been putting up, on his good weeks, then that's going to be a number one guy for you right there. So I'm really looking at that. I agree with Wallace. I actually went with an Eli to ODB stack myself.
Mhm.
So I really kind of shortchanged myself on my flex. I have Jeremy Hill.
I'm the exact same. I have Jeremy Hill in my flex. But hey, it's not a bad flex. I mean, he's cheap and he's going against a poor Giants run defense.
Yeah,
too, so.
yeah. So
and they're going to be in the game. They're going to be close. So
yeah.
I just always end up flexing out wide receivers. Van Cleef, who'd you flex this week?
That was a tough one for me. I originally had in Robert Kelly because he was really dirt cheap.
Yeah.
But he's going up against
Robert Kelly.
But he's going against Minnesota, so it makes me kind of question if I should keep him in or not.
Yeah, I ended up flexing in Michael Thomas again this week. He's been my dude in DraftKings. He's been hitting for me, so
he's good. Even against tough matchups, like he's still producing consistent numbers. I read somewhere that the two most consistent wide receivers so far this year are Larry Fitzgerald and Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
which seems kind of crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, who would have thunk it?
Yeah, not me.
But Michael Thomas is the real deal. In that, how that offense loves to throw. Like Willie Snead out, Michael Thomas in for me. I'm not starting any Sneads, but I'm starting all the Thomases.
I think a couple more good plays in DraftKings this week. David Johnson, he's the most expensive, but he's going against San Francisco. Even for the price, he's going to get you the points you need to win. Lamar Miller, he's only $400 more than your Jordan Howard. So his value's been dropping, but he's going against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Lamar Miller is a focal point of that offense. So I think that's huge value. Another guy like Jordan Matthews going up against Atlanta. Cheap, $5,900.
Yep. Yeah. I love the Jordan Matthews call.
Yeah, I love all those picks you had there.
Yeah. So my team is literally Flacco and Wallace, Jordan Howard and Miller are my running backs. Alshon Jeffrey, J.J. Nelson are my other wide receivers. Jimmy Graham in my tight end position, Michael Thomas in the flex with the Rams defense. Boom. Let's end it right now. That's a winning lineup.
I think you're going to lose, Roman.
You're going to lose next 4 weeks.
I think this is going to be my first win this week, and I'm pretty confident about it.
I'll probably change it before we actually play. Since
if you'd like to copy my lineup, I'll let you copy my lineup.
I might change
it. Brent, I don't want any of your lineups. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, we'll see after this week.
You keep them to yourself.
I usually do.
Alex, you got anybody else out there you want to talk about?
I mean, I have one player that I have in for only the reason that I feel like there's got to be a game where he blows up, and it's probably not going to be this week, but I put in Gurley. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. It's got to happen. Like I feel like it at some point they have to put in Goff. I think it's going to be this week, and I think that's going to add just enough of a boost that maybe they'll start kind of doing some things differently. I don't know. I've just got this weird feeling about him, so I threw him in there.
Who are you
And
starting
he's
at tight
cheap.
end?
I'm actually starting Barnage.
Okay.
I don't know. Like this week, for whatever reason, just feels weird. It doesn't feel like I don't think I'm going to win this week because I just don't feel good about anything other than Jordan Howard.
It feels weird because I'm going to win this week.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. I think that I'll be coming back again next week and talking about my $7.20 that I just put into my DraftKings account via the Four Horsemen. But let's go ahead and end the show, guys. I appreciate you for coming out and listening, and appreciate you guys for talking to me. So thanks for stopping out. Follow us on Twitter, Four Horsemen Pod. Hit us up on Gmail, fourhorsemenpod@gmail.com. Peace, guys.
See ya.